Once upon a time, deep in the sugary plains of Marshmallowia, Tung Sahur woke up inside a refrigerator. He wasn't sure how he got there, but next to him was a suspicious note written in pink glitter ink. Dear Sahur, you are now the ambassador of the Bubblegum Parliament. Please report to the chewing hall at 9:09 a.m. sharp. Bring a spoon. Tung blinked 3 times, sneezed marshmallow dust, and grabbed his favorite golden spoon named Sir Scoop-a-Lot. I guess it's going to be one of those days, he mumbled, as the fridge door slowly melted into whipped cream and opened into a staircase made of licorice. Tung Sahur descended the licorice stairs with great caution. Each step made a distinct squish, like jellyfish hiccuping in reverse. The walls around him pulsed with a soft peppermint glow, and the air smelled like someone had baked cookies out of thunder and laughter. At the bottom of the staircase stood a grand pair of double doors, 10 meters tall and entirely sculpted from bubblegum. They quivered slightly, like they were trying to hold in a secret giggle. 2 guards in candy corn uniforms snapped to attention. One had a jawbreaker for a helmet. The other wore a monocle made from dried soda. Ambassador Sahur, said the taller one, the Parliament is in emergency session. The Jellybean faction has declared a state of emotional panic. A panic? Sahur tilted his head. Emotional? They claim their feelings have been melted by the Lollipop Lobby's aggressive hugs. Sahur nodded sagely. Ah yes, weaponized affection, a classic move. With a dramatic sweep of his spoon, Sahur stepped through the doors, which farted softly as they opened. Inside, the chewing hall was a swirl of chaos and color. Representatives from every candy tribe filled the chamber. Caramel clerics, licorice ninjas, taffy diplomats, and even a delegation of gummy bears in tiny capes. At the center of the room stood a massive throne made entirely of chewed gum, red, pink, green, and disturbingly beige. It pulsed and oozed gently, as if alive. Sahur raised his spoon and bellowed, "Order, sweet citizens of Chewdom, your ambassador has arrived." Several jellybeans fainted from the drama. A candy cane general snapped their peppermint sword in salute. Just as Tung Sahur raised his spoon to calm the chamber, a loud, sticky explosion echoed through the chewing hall. All eyes turned to the balcony of the gummy bear delegation, and what they saw made even the caramel clerics drop their butterscotch scrolls in horror. Hundreds of gummy bears, red, green, yellow, orange, even suspiciously turquoise, had armed themselves with licorice slingshots and jellybean grenades. One bear, wearing a bandana made of chewing taffy, stood on a sour worm podium and shouted, "No more soggy seats, no more sugar taxes, down with the bubblegum bureaucracy." The hall erupted. Taffy diplomats dove under desks. Licorice ninjas vanished in puffs of powdered cocoa. A gingerbread senator fainted onto a marshmallow intern. Tung took 1 step forward, spoon raised like a glowing baton of reason. "Gummy bears of Chewdom, I hear your cries. I taste your discontent." A particularly round gummy bear with glitter eyes threw a cupcake at him. "You taste nothing. You live in a refrigerator?" Sahur caught the cupcake midair, sniffed it, and took a bite. Vanilla rage with a hint of raspberry rebellion. A bold flavor indeed. A hush fell over the chamber. Even the jellybean grenadiers hesitated. Tung stood tall. "Let us not fight with frosting and fury. Instead, let us chew together in unity." The gummy bear leader blinked. "You would listen to us?" "Of course," said Sahur. "But only if you promise to stop sticking gum under the licorice benches." A murmur of guilt ran through the gummy ranks. One tiny bear pulled 3 chewed wads from his ears. The riot melted into a group hug, sticky and awkward, but sincere. Just when peace had begun to spread through the chewing hall, like warm caramel on toast, a cold wind slipped through the candy-stained glass windows. The lights flickered. The throne of chewed gum shivered. A distant voice hissed through the vents. Sahur. Tung Tung Sahur looked up sharply. That's not the sound of political discourse. That's citrus treachery. A moment later, a squad of thin, translucent figures burst into the room, their bodies glowing faintly green, their cloaks fizzing with sour sugar crystals. The entire chamber gasped in unison. "The Sour Spies!" someone shouted. "From the tangy citadel." These spies were legendary. Warriors trained to dissolve in water and reassemble in vinegar. Their mission? Sabotage, confusion, and the occasional prank involving invisible lemons. They moved in unison, hurling sour dust into the air. Diplomats began sneezing uncontrollably. Licorice ninjas lost their footing and slipped into a vat of root beer. One sour agent somersaulted directly towards Sahur. Time slowed. The spy held a weapon shaped like a juice box, hissing and steaming. Sahur whipped his spoon into a spinning spiral, deflecting the citrus beam and launching a marshmallow counterattack. A puff of soft sugar engulfed the attacker, who landed with a thud in a pile of bubble-wrapped grapes. Another agent tried to plant a lemon bomb under the chewed gum throne. But a quick-thinking gummy bear tackled him mid-squeeze. Chaos reigned, but Sahur's voice sliced through it like a sharp chocolate shard. "Spies of Sour, why do you attack now? We were about to vote on universal toothpick rights." The lead spy removed her hood. Her hair sparkled like candied lightning. "We sour ones were never invited to the sweet accords," she snarled. "We are the leftovers, the misunderstood. You call us too intense and spit us out." Sahur paused, lowered his spoon. "Then perhaps it is time to rewrite the menu." A hush fell. Even the jelly beans stopped panicking. He held out a hand, sticky, sincere, and faintly powdered with sugar. "Join us at the table. Bring your tang. We'll bring the balance." The Sour Spies looked at each other. The room waited. Then the leader whispered, "Do you have sour cream?" "Only if you bring the onion chips," Sahur grinned. And just like that, the treaty was born, sticky, zesty, and beautifully weird. It started with a single drip. A slow, syrupy plop echoed down from the top of Molasses Mountain, landing directly onto a confused squirrel made entirely of crystallized honey. The squirrel squeaked, looked up, and promptly melted into a puddle of polite panic. Tung Sahur stood at the base of the mountain with his companions. Bombordiro Crocodilo, chewing a clove cigar made of cinnamon bark. Tralalelo Tralala, riding a unicycle that hummed when afraid. And Puddington Q Globgloop, whose eyebrows were currently on fire due to a poorly timed marshmallow experiment. Sahur narrowed his eyes at the treacle-stained slope. "Molasses Mountain is melting," he said solemnly. "This hasn't happened since the Great Pancake Uprising of '73. "Not again," groaned Bombordiro. "Last time, I lost my mustache in a caramel whirlpool." "The squirrels will drown in sweetness," shrieked Tralalelo. "And I haven't even finished alphabetizing my jelly bean collection." From behind them, a deep rumble shook the ground. The mountain burped, then gurgled, then sighed like a sleepy whale full of syrup. Sahur raised his spoon to the wind. "This isn't just melting, this is sabotage." He dipped a finger into the molasses flow. It shimmered oddly and smelled faintly of chili peppers. "Spicy sabotage," he muttered. A rare kind. Suddenly, a flying crumpet crashed into a rock beside them. A note was pinned to it with a peppermint toothpick. If you want to stop the melting, bring us the golden butter stick, or drown. Signed, the Toast Underground. Sahur's eyes narrowed. The Toast Underground was real. Mobilize the Dairy Brigade, he commanded. Prepare the whipped cream cannons and warm up the fondue submarines. Bombordiro pulled out his croissant phone. I'm calling in the cheese tanks. The trek to the heart of butter storage would be dangerous. Past the Jello jungle, beyond the custard cliffs, and through the perilous pathways of the vegan resistance. But Sahur was determined. No toast cult is going to drown this world in spicy molasses, he growled. We'll spread justice like marmalade on the face of destiny. And so began the great butter quest. One spoon, one drip, one ridiculous battle at a time. Tung Tung Sahur led the Dairy Brigade in a fierce charge against the Toast Fortress. Spoons clashed with crunchy crusts, and rivers of syrup splattered the battlefield. At the heart of the fight stood Sir Crustsworth III, determined to keep the golden butter stick. But Sahur's swift spoon strike won the day. Sir Crustsworth sighed, defeated but hopeful. I just wanted cinnamon toast to be loved again. Sahur smiled and handed him a flyer. Try opening a brunch cafe. It's all the rage. Peace returned to the breakfast realm. Sticky but victorious, the heroes knew they'd rise again whenever breakfast was in trouble. Spoons ready, hearts full, butter in hand.